surviving, you're trying to sneak a win, but you want every opportunity that you can.
Good fighters, great fights. That's the mantra here at ProBox TV. A beautiful shot of downtown Tampa, Florida, our world headquarters for ProBox TV. We don't promote boxers, we promote boxing. Tonight, our Wednesday night fights here on your boxing channel come to you live from right here inside the ProBox TV Event Center. 3 returning fighters and a main event that we cannot wait for. We get things started with a 4-round welterweight matchup. They call him Tap. 20-year-old Devon Williams comes from a fighting family. He is ready to showcase everything against Slick Willie William Davis, who is 13 years his elder. He's tall, fights long, and possesses that man strength. We have a 6-round super middleweight fight featuring 7-0, 2020 Olympian, the southpaw Daryl Blast Val Saint. His opponent comes in on very short notice, but it's worthy of note that Blast had been training to face an orthodox fighter. Instead, he gets fellow southpaw Argentina's Marcelo Soski. Our co-main event is a 6-round super welterweight matchup featuring 8-0 Marcus Valle, who is coming off a dominant 6-round unanimous decision victory after not seeing the 3rd round in his previous 7 professional fights. He battles DeMarcus Little Rock Layton, who has actually been training in Texas. And our main event is scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. The Georgian all-action Otar Aranosian is back here on ProBox TV. His opponent is Sinaloa, Mexico's Eddie Valencia. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg, joined, of course, on Wednesdays by my powerful partners, the former world champion, Chris Algieri, the former 2-time world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi. Let's talk about Otar Aranosian, because, Paulie, you and I have called his fights before. He's all action. His gas tank never empties. He's a ton of fun to watch.
Oh, is he ever? You know, and this guy's got a ton of amateur experience, so he's got the skill, but he's a seek and destroy kind of skill. You know, he's looking to make the action. He looks to make the fight, chase the opponent down, but he does it in a skill way and in a way where it's constantly engaging. You know, and the good thing about Aranosian, he's not just action, he's also a showman. He's very cognizant of the fact that he's got to put on a show for the fans, not afraid to do a little bit of showboating, maybe a little bit of hot dogging. You may love him, you may want to see him get knocked out. I'll tell you what, you're going to be enjoying his action when he brings it.
Hey, everybody wants to have an opinion on a fighter, so have your opinions one way or another. Otar Aranosian is a ton of fun, and Chris, it was funny in the fighter interviews earlier, he said he's always been a showman since he was a little kid, so he doesn't force it. Eddie Valencia is his opponent. Experienced, intelligent, never been stopped, and a guy you know pretty well.
Yeah, I've had the honor to call some of his fights before. He is the opposite of a showman. He is a bring your pail and get to work kind of guy. He's a workman-like meat and potatoes type of fighter. He's going to go out there. He throws a ton of punches as well. He answers everything thrown at him. He's an all-action guy. I think this main event's going to heat up very fast.
Well, he will get plenty thrown at him when you're talking about Otar Aranosian. So tonight, we have 3 regulars here on ProBox TV. Our future stars, of course, Daryl Val Saint, the Olympian, Marcus Valle, both putting their unbeaten records on the line, and then the always entertaining, unbeaten Otar Aranosian in our main event of the evening. And it is just great when we have live fights here inside our world headquarters, right down the road from downtown Tampa, Florida. We get things started with a 4-round welterweight matchup. Devon Williams and William Davis. So Williams against William. Devon Williams, William Davis. They will fight for 4 rounds in the welterweight division. The first of 4 fights here on a Wednesday night on your boxing channel. There is Devon Williams, 20 years old. His first fight tonight since his professional debut back on June 11th of 2022. So it's been about 11 months. He's young, he's talented. He said he's been very active. Unfortunately, opponents have dropped out. Devon Williams ready for William Davis. But before we do that, how about the keys to victory for Devon Williams, Chris?
Yeah, so Devon Tap Williams, you know, we got to win the battle of the lead foot. He's fighting a southpaw here. This is his first southpaw in the pros, but he's got a big amateur background, so he shouldn't be too worried about that. Next, control the range. He's got a tall fighter in front of him whose nickname is Slick, so you want to make sure that you're controlling that range, be all the way in or all the way out. And then lastly, start fast. Your opponent hasn't fought in the last 7 years as a pro, so you want to test that resiliency early.
I never like to disagree with my partners, Chris, but it's actually 6 years, 9 months, and 13 days. Just, you know, who's counting? Who's counting, Paulie? 2,477 days. First fight since August 5th of 2016. Had some things to overcome outside of the boxing ring, but he said he's ready. He is very well prepared. His mentor gave him the nickname of Slick Willie. Many years ago, he fights tonight for his 9-year-old daughter. William Davis, keys to victory, Magic Man.
Well, William Davis, you know, he's a tall guy. He's the taller of these two guys. You want to keep that reach, use that reach, keep your opponent in a range where he can be less dangerous and you can control that distance. Use the straight left hands. It's a southpaw, so obviously that's the big weapon for a southpaw. Use the straight left hands, find those angles, and create the openings for the straight left hand. One of the ways you're going to use to find those angles, one of the methods you're going to use is a circle to your right. You want to circle to your right, keep that foot on the outside, just like the champ Chris mentioned about his opponent. It's a battle of the lead feet. You keep your foot on the outside, you get that proper angle. You can both protect yourself and use that big left hand.
Our tail of the tape for our first fight on this Wednesday night on ProBox TV. 20-year-old Devon Williams against 33-year-old William Davis. Devon Williams will have a 3-inch reach advantage. Scheduled for 4 rounds in the welterweight division. To get us started, here is Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another night of prize fighting boxing. Live from the ProBox TV event center in the beautiful town of Plant City, Florida, USA. This is Wednesday Night Fights, live on ProBox TV. This bout is set for 4 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. 4 rounds de combate en la división de peso welter. Sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission. Chairman, Tina Pike. Assistant Executive Director, Timothy Shipman. Ringside physicians, Dr. Taris Cockno and Adrian Cockno. Your timekeeper, Phyllis Gary. Your 3 judges going this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces. Brian Gary, James O'Connor, and Shammy Shipman. Your referee in charge of the action, su referee para medir las acciones, Christopher Young. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the black with red and purple trunks. Originally, he weighs in 144.5 pounds. He stands with a record, 1 victory, no defeats, and that victory coming by the fast way of knockout. Originally from Sacramento, and now representing Oakland, California, William Slick Willie Davis. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing the black and gray trunks. Officially weighs in 145 pounds. He stands with a record, 1 victory, no defeats, and 1 victory coming by the fast way of knockout. Presentando ustedes en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo negro con gris, con un peso de 145 libras. Presenta números de 1 victoria, 0 derrotas, y esa victoria por la vía rápida del cloroformo. From Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Devon Tap Williams. Y ahora con las indicaciones finales, with the final instructions, your referee in charge, Christopher Young. 4 rounds, 4 asaltos.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Everything I'm considered legal, I'm considered out, okay? Listen, you receive instructions in the dressing room. Expect tough, clean fight. Give my commands ball all the time, protect yourselves all the time. Touch them up.
We are set for Devon Tamp Williams against Slick Willie William Davis. Kevin Cunningham in the corner of the 20-year-old Devon Williams.
All right. Group, are you ready? Rick, are you ready? Bam!
Here we go. It's time to fight. Gray and black trunks for Tap, Devon Williams. Slick Willie William Davis in the black and purple. Oh, and he's hit right away. Just like that.
Hey, walk to me.
Beautifully timed.
You want to continue?
Over the top.
All right, protect yourself. Box.
Oh. And again.
Wasting no time. Oh.
He may finish it. It's over. Just like that. 20-year-old Devon Williams by knockout.
Davis should have tried to hold on. You could see that inexperience, till 7 years out, you know, those instincts are kind of get away from you.
Hey, our key to victory was start fast, contested resilience. That was exactly what Tap Williams did. My goodness, the precision, the accuracy. I mean, that left hook was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes when a knockout that fast, it's just a matter of the other guy being inept. We don't really know because the guy, you know, Davis threw a good jab to the stomach, but it was well timed. Williams held his ground, which is a must if you're going to get that kind of power on the shot. Held his ground and threw the hook over the top of the jab to the stomach, and you know what? That did the damage. So it wasn't just one of these quick knockouts because you know what, the guy didn't do anything. You know, yeah, it was actually a well-timed shot.
Yeah, well, like you said, Davis actually landed a really nice jab off to the body early, went to it again, went to it the third time, and Williams had made that adjustment, timed it perfectly as he came in, caught him, didn't see the shot, put him down.
And not just the timing, the key is he held his ground. A lot of times your instinct is to ride with that shot, maybe even check hook. Most guys will do that. I know I would have done that. I used to love the check hook, but Williams actually holds his ground there, and that's what allows him to really be set to put power on that hook. And you could see with the power on the hook, the result that it got him.
As we said, that initial knockdown, you're going to see go low, go high, reaches for the body. Doesn't have the range for that body shot there, but that left hook over the top, perfectly timed. And like you said, Champ, set his feet, knew the punch was coming, ready for it. Beautiful shot over the top, right in the temple. Davis goes down hard.
Yeah, that's a lot of alertness, especially early on in a fight, you know, to be able to have that kind of concentration. You really haven't seen your opponent's speed yet. You're usually trying to gauge the timing. I mean, he gauged it rather fast.
That was sharp, super sharp.
And the sharp, the second knockdown here, I mean, Davis is already hurt. It's just as elementary here. This is where Davis should have been trying to hold. Instead, he was trying to fight Williams off of him. And, of course, that's never a good thing when you're hurt and you have no legs. And you can see right here, he's trying to fire back. And, of course, that's just going to get him timed again. You know, catch and shoot there with the hook to the head. And, of course, a nice double hook, body and head combination finishes the fight.
His nickname is Tap, but that boy does not tap. He's throwing real heat, setting down. I really like the fact that everything he threw after he had this man hurt was power. Yeah. He's like, let me get him out here.
And also, you know what, the transition from defense to offense, he's really flowing very well like water. You know, to quote Bruce Lee, you know, the transition right from defense to offense to defense, you can see it just flow naturally.
If those are taps, Chris, I would hate to see, and so would a future opponent, but he really throws because it was quick work for Devon Williams. In fact, I didn't even get to say William Davis in the southpaw stance. Coming up next, super middleweight matchup, 6 rounds featuring the 2020 Haitian Olympian Daryl Blast Val Saint and Marcelo Soski, who comes in on short notice. Then it is Marcus Baye and Marcus Layton in our co-main event of the evening. That one at super welterweight. Our main event is scheduled for 10. He returns the Georgian Otar Aranosian against Mexico's Eddie Valencia. But now to make our first fight of the night official, let's get it back up to Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, referee in charge, Christopher Young, stops the bout officially with a time of 40 seconds in the opening round. Tenemos el tiempo oficial, 40 segundos en el primer asalto. El referee en turno detuvo las acciones. For your winner by the way of TKO victory. Su vencedor por la vía del knockout técnico, Devon Tap One Williams.
Great job done by Devon Williams. And Chris, you beat me to it. I guess you were getting me back for the timeline, because I was going to say those taps had a ton of power, and they certainly did, and they worked effectively. You talked to us in our fighter meetings that you know these guys very well. You had sparred with Tap's older brother, Bang. His father was his coach for a while. You knew that talent was there. I was thinking maybe you didn't expect it to be that quick, though.
Well, I shouldn't say all that. I wanted you guys to see for yourself. I know the talent the kid brings. I wasn't sure about the power. You know, I saw him box as basically a kid.
Right.
Now, you know, he's 19. He's obviously found his man strength, and that power's for real. That was I can't wait to see this kid fight again.
And that's a guy, Paulie, who, you know, amazingly, it's been so long since he fought. Obviously, his opponent hadn't fought in nearly 7 years, but there's been some time off for Tap as well, and those weren't taps, as we talked about, Paulie. Those were some serious punches. He got the equilibrium messed up on William Davis, and that was the end of Slick Willie.
Yeah, timing shot. You know, they say the shot you don't see is the one that hurts you most. Well, you know, Davis was committed to that jab to the stomach. Never expected that hook to come over the top, especially so early in the fight. You don't really expect a guy to get your timing that quickly. He was able to get that timing very quickly, throw that good shot. And, of course, his nickname is Tap. His brother's name was Bang, but he might inherit that nickname, Bang, with knockouts like this. And you know what? He's got a great pedigree in his corner as well. Got to mention Kevin Cunningham, you know, a trainer of multiple world champions like Corey Spinks and Devin Alexander. And he's down here in Florida now, and he trains Tap. That's it. That's great pedigree in the corner as well. Great pedigree as a fighter, great pedigree in the corner. It's a winning combination.
Those taps had a lot of bang and a lot of power in them, and he makes short work of his opponent tonight. So congratulations to Devon Williams. And he's got really an all-star corner. And if Kevin Cunningham believes in him, then Chris was keeping some things secret from us, Paulie.
Kevin Cunningham's not going to waste his time if you don't have the talent and you don't have the work ethic. And when you see Cunningham in that corner, that means you know somebody's bringing the goods. There's certain trainers that are of that level, and Kevin's one of them.
Yes, and so we look forward to seeing Tap again in the future on ProBox TV. We got Blast and El Loco coming up next, and Daryl Blast Val Saint, the 2020 Olympian, is just you know, he's becoming more and more of a professional every single fight. And there is, Chris, a learning curve for a young fighter. Olympian or not, you still have to get in the pros and be tested.
Oh, absolutely, man. When that headgear comes off and those little gloves come on, things are different, and it takes time. It takes a level of maturity to grow, and it takes some seasoning, as I like to say, you know, in order to become a true pro, even no matter how high of an IQ you have from the amateur background.
All right, let's talk more about Blast and his opponent, who just came into town from Boston. But first, here's a little snippet of our talk shows. They are all ones that you do not want to miss.
How would you qualify this outing by Tony Weeks?
It's unfortunate. It's bad for boxing, and it hurts the sport, and something has to be done about it.
People that run boxing at the very, very top make their money. They make plenty of money. They get to do what they want, how they want, as corruptly as they want, or they always make the money. If you start to fix the problem, they can't control it the way they want to control it.
Does it really matter? The decision is already made. Barroso took the loss by TKO. Can we really overturn it? The investigation is going to make that much of a difference?
There should have been a situation in place where someone else watching from outside the ring had the authority to buzz him right in his ear immediately and say, no, that's not a stoppage, keep going.
Justice for Ismael Barroso. He deserves a rematch. He deserves another big fight. Justice for Ismael Barroso. Hashtag justice for Barroso.
worthy of note that as professional sports have moved on towards replay, when you're in the playoffs, right now you see a lot in the NHL and a lot in the NBA, Paulie, where it's mandatory that they go to, control rooms, that they go to the decision center in Toronto. Can we implement that into the sport of boxing?
I wouldn't mind seeing it happen, maybe some kind of challenge flag, the way you see, you get a certain amount of challenges per 12 rounds or per fight. I don't know, something should be discussed regarding that. Technology has moved ahead in all other sports, and it's used in all other sports. I don't see why we can't use it, especially with the amount of mistakes that, you're just susceptible to human error, just like you're always susceptible to human error. I believe this was more than human error, though. This was too big of a mistake to just be human error. I'm sorry. I've done this for too long. I've been in this business for too long to think that was just human error. But nonetheless, you should still be able to challenge certain things.
You can have the challenge, or as I mentioned, Chris, here in the playoffs, you have mandatory looks from control centers in Toronto or the NBA control room that will tell you who last touched the ball, if that was a penalty, if that was a goal. You don't even have to find the challenge flag to be thrown, but we'll talk about that more on our talk shows as we continue on your boxing channel. All right, let's get back to our next fight, and it is time for Blast. 7-0, Daryl Val Saint. Weighed in at 164.4. He's ready to go, ready to fight Eric Moon. Unfortunately, Eric Moon, an orthodox fighter, fell ill. So in from Boston comes Marcelo Soski, the Argentinian, looking to pull off a major upset. Now, I will tell you, he last fought on April 29th. The last fight for Daryl Val Saint was February 22nd. Against Lucas D'Abreu.
Yeah, this was a step-up fight for Val Saint. Lucas D'Abreu, a very talented fighter. One of those guys, he's not expected to win, but he always gives a good showing of himself. And he came to win. He wanted to win that fight that night. He tested Val Saint in certain areas. At least went the distance with him. He was able to push him the limit. But Val Saint had to earn his money that night, and that's the kind of seasoning and growth and maturity we were talking about. It doesn't matter how good you are in the amateurs. Being a pro is a different thing, and Val Saint got a taste of that night.
And he may face more of the same tonight, Paulie, because his opponent, Soski, does have 21 losses, but he has only been stopped twice. So Blast is going to have to get past. I know it's short notice, last-minute notice, but there is some durability to Marcelo.
Not only that, sometimes guys like this are hard to look good against because they don't really come to win. They come to do their job. They come to last the rounds, kind of make you look bad. They're happy just to make you look bad. He's got 21 losses. What's the difference for him to get a 22? As long as you're not stopping him, he's making you look bad. He feels like he's done a job. With D'Abreu, he was the opponent, but D'Abreu felt like he was a prospect himself. So he fought with that kind of pride. He tried to win that fight. He tried to knock off the prospect here at ProBox Val Saint. And you could see it was pride versus pride, skill versus skill. D'Abreu had over 100 amateur fights, so it was a different kind of fight. I think tonight with Zalski, you're going to see a rugged guy, a guy who looks to disrupt your timing with awkwardness, and he doesn't care if he really wins the fight. As long as he's making you look bad, and maybe he can land a big shot and get you out of there, that's all he cares about, And so it's going to be tough. I think it's a tough proposition for Val Saint to be in this position, but you got to get the experience. You got to keep yourself busy, and when you're a prospect, you got to fight as often as possible. So your opponent fell out yesterday. You got to take this guy.
It goes from orthodox to southpaw, but the one thing we can tell you about Blast is he is about as seamless a boxer as we have here at ProBox TV, switching his stance. So adjusting to the southpaw, Chris, may not be as laborious as it would be if he wasn't familiar with switching that stance.
No, he actually started to figure out the switching of sides because of a hand injury, and he got adept at both sides, did it rather quickly. Yeah. Like you said, I don't think it's going to be a big problem, the fact that he's fighting a southpaw, wasn't expecting it. He's got that big amateur background and pedigree. He's fought many southpaws in his career, and he's sparred with them as well. So, and plus he can switch his sides. He can figure out what works for him tonight at the time. So.
All right, so Daryl Val Saint, his keys to victory, Chris, the first is to be aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, like Paulie said, this guy in front of him is a survivor, really. So be aggressive with him, put the pressure on him, use your power, use your sharp punches. Next, cut off the ring. Your guy likes to move around the ring a lot, a ladder movement. Don't follow him. You got to cut the ring off and find him. Lastly, uppercuts and body shots, because Sowski likes to throw overhand shots, and he dips his head, leaves the openings for the uppercut and the body shots on either side.
Soski said, and I quote, being here is a dream. Polish grandfather played football, soccer as it would be football, in Argentina. Marcelo comes back and forth from Argentina to fight. Yes, he got the call yesterday morning, Paulie, but he did just fight 19 days ago. Keys to victory for Soski.
Yeah, this guy hangs out in the gym. You know, he works out. He's got a day job, and you know, he works out for opportunities like this. You know, when you're an opponent, you're going to get last-minute opportunities. Dip and rip. You know, the champ Chris mentioned that, you know, he's got an awkward style, and you know, he kind of tends to dip a little bit. When you dip and take advantage, dip and then let your shots go. You know, you got to try to land something big, maybe disrupt the timing of Valsaint. Lateral movement, use that lateral movement off before you're dipping, maybe off of that movement, get that dip and rip going. And then punch on the inside. When you get inside, if you are able to rip and it gets you on the inside when you land the shot, make sure you get those arms moving, you get those punches going. Disrupt the natural rhythm of Valsaint.
Super middleweight matchup scheduled for 6 rounds. Our tail of the tape, 20-year-old Daryl Valsaint, putting his unbeaten record on the line against a man 13 years his elder, Blast, much taller, and he will have a 3-inch reach advantage. With the official introductions, once again, here is Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the action. This is Wednesday Night Fights, live on ProBox TV. This bout is set for 6 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. Prepárense, damas y caballeros, 6 rounds de combate en la división de peso super medio. Your 3 judges scoring this bout. Sus 3 jueces: James O'Connor, Michael Ross y Shammy Shipman. Your referee in charge of the action, su referee para medir las acciones de la Isla del Encanto, Puerto Rico, Michael de Jesus. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the white trunks with black trim. Officially weighs in the limit 168 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, pantaloncillo blanco con negro, con un peso de 168 libras. He stands with the record 11 victories, 21 defeats, and 2 draws. Presenta números de 11 victorias, 21 derrotas y 2 empates. De Buenos Aires, Argentina, Marcelo Loco Soski. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing the red trunks with gold trim. Officially weighs in 164.5 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo color rojo con oro, con un peso de 164.5 libras. He stands with a record, a perfect one. 7 victories, no defeats, and 5 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 7 victorias, 0 derrotas, y 5 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Representing Orlando, Florida, Daryl the Blast Valsaint. And now giving out the final instructions con las indicaciones finales, su referee, Michael de Jesus. 6 rounds, 6 asaltos.
All right, guys, so we'll told you in the locker room and in the corner. You know, I expect touch gloves if you want to. If not, go back to your corner. All right, let's go.
They thought about the touch, and then they touch. Daryl Valsaint looking to move to 8-0 prior to his 21st birthday. He takes on Soski on short notice. Here we go. It's time to fight. Valsaint in the red and gold trunks comes out in the southpaw stance. Leopard print trunks for Marcelo El Loco Soski.
Southpaw versus southpaw, as you mentioned, Goldie. Valsaint was getting ready for a right hand there. He's got the southpaw in front of him now. Look for the adjustment.
And Chris, it was around the Olympics that Daryl Valsaint suffered the broken hand that actually now, years later, works to his advantage because he feels so comfortable from both sides.
Yeah, right away you can see that very sharp southpaw jab. Not really a punch that a lot of southpaws utilize, but he has a southpaw in front of him, so it's a perfect shot to split the guard. There it is again.
And we've talked many times, Paulie, about, you know, right-handed southpaws. And so that jab does come with a different level of potential damage than when it isn't your major arm, when it isn't the arm that you're throwing the cross with. You're throwing your front arm with all that power, and that's a good thing for Blast.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about converted southpaws, but, you know, there's also converted right-handers, you know, right. And then Blast is one of those guys. He's got a very educated right hand, but this is a natural ready.
I like the physical pressure that Blast is putting on his opponent. You've got a guy come in last minute replacement. Might as well just get early, get aggressive early, put that physical pressure on him, see if he's really been in the gym or not, like you were saying, Champ. You know, 1 day notice is legit.
Yeah, and that also not give them a chance to really get any confidence. Sometimes guys come in with the opponent mentality, but they may get some confidence by, you know, being able to hang around in there or maybe land a shot or two. So you take away any chance of them gaining confidence by putting that mental pressure on them, that physical pressure. You may get them out of there quicker.
Well, Soski didn't get a chance to perhaps burn himself out during training camp for this fight or get mentally off the targeted event that he would like to see happen, and that is an upset of Darryl Valsaint. He comes in, just fought 19 days ago and wants to put on a show.
Yeah, he's game.
Blast is looking very sharp right now, though. He's cutting off the ring really well. He's being aggressive. He's really getting behind that southpaw jab. Just missing with the power straight left hands down the middle. So far, so good from Blast.
It has been said before, if fighting was a subject in grade school, Darryl Valsaint would have been the model student. Instead, he went to 10 different high schools, school districts, as he found boxing, and he finds the body of his opponent late in round 1.
Yeah, Champ, you mentioned Soski. You don't want him to get comfortable, but I can see him analyzing. I feel like I can see his brain. He's taking in the data from Valsaint. He looks like he's getting more comfortable. That's just because he's such a veteran.
Yeah, and he doesn't really give you a lot of openings. He keeps that tight guard, and so you're not really going to be able to hit him with a shot to just get him out of there. He goes the distance a lot for a reason.
Okay? If he keeps backing up, right? If you can give me a slap hook with a straight left, you can do that too. All right? You're kind of like, you ready? You see what you see? Let's go to work, all right?
Mark Frey.
Give me a little bit of feint. Give me a double quick, but shoot that. You gotta get close. You can't throw that double jab from far, right? And then hit that body and stay in there. Don't let him out, all right? Work behind there, all right? Jump on him when he separates. Boom, boom. Okay? You understood that? What I said. All right, yeah, double jab. Gives him there, all right? All right, you ready? Good job.
Mark tested him there. He better be the model student. Coach said, what did I just say? He answered it right. They answer the bell. Round number 2. Blast in the red and gold. He is 7-0, just 20 years old. Leopard print trunks for the Argentinian Marcelo Soski.
Soski kind of finding that, you know, opponent/sparring partner mentality. You know, just he knows how to hang around. Again, he doesn't give you a lot of openings, so it's going to give Blast a chance to work on some things, get the rounds. He's not going to be an easy guy to get out of there.
Good combination by Valsaint.
There's that dip and rip you were talking about, Paulie. He ducks that head and throws those big looping shots like that.
Yeah, and the thing about that is he does it only when he's really forced to, you know, and otherwise he's really focused on covering up and trying to lure you in and so that he can try that again. He's not really looking to set you up. He's looking to get you to overcommit a little bit.
Yeah, he also likes to slow the pace. He doesn't want to get into exchanges.
Oh, yeah.
So getting really low can help with that.
Sparring partner mentality, you know, just stay in there and go the rounds. He's known to go the distance. He's known to give you the work.
He's what I call a jobber. He wants to get out of here without a KO, so he doesn't get put on suspension, and he can work again next week.
He's not Glass Joe because he goes the distance, so he's more like a Von Kaiser.
Right. Ooh, good body shot there from Valsaint.
Oh, good catch and shoot there too.
Round number 2. Super middleweight matchup scheduled for 6.
Another thing about a guy like this who survives most of these fights, he's probably got a pretty good chin too.
Good counter uppercut. That good timing shot.
Oh!
Down goes Soski. It is all over. Blast with the finishing
timing shot. Timing, timing, timing. That's the name of the game for the two prospects we've seen tonight so far. Great counter shot, timing shots. Ended both fights.
That's what you want to see from a blue chip prospect. I was literally just saying, this guy probably has a good chin because he survives, and he gets knocked out. Beautiful, beautiful job of Valsain. Great timing.
And not just that, he wasn't really given a lot to Valsain. Valsain had to hold his ground there, just like we talked about in the first fight with Tap Williams. Had to hold his ground there to get that counter uppercut off. And Zulski gives you just enough. You know, he doesn't really give you a lot of openings, so that opening's going to be there just for a second. But he's not fully committing on anything. You got him to commit a little bit on that jab. Oh, I don't even know if he was throwing a left hand or was it just a jab. I mean, and that was a counter shot right there. You got to get it off in a split second because again, I'll reiterate, Zulski's not really committing a lot. So any counter shots you're going to time, you've got to be holding your ground for one, and you got to get it off quick. And you'll notice in this replay, the reason Valsain was able to get the shot off is because of the position game he was playing the entire couple of rounds. Good shot right off the double jab. You see, it wasn't really a committing jab. He was kind of tapping out with it. He wasn't really looking to overcommit with that jab, but it was because Valsain held his ground. Held his ground there. He didn't step back. He didn't let this jab, see, it was kind of an illusionary jab to create space. Valsain didn't give him the space. Instead, he held his ground and gave that counter uppercut, and he was the follow-up.
3 keys to victory for Valsain. Be aggressive. He was aggressive all night long. Cut off the ring. We're watching that right here. He cuts him off with the shot and lands that looping shot there, and then uppercuts. He did it perfectly.
And you know what?
He must have read my keys.
Absolutely. As well they should. And by the way, again, this is just part for the course for a guy like Zalski who knows how to go to distance, knows how to create those little openings for himself, not to create openings to hit you, but more so to create openings to survive. Yeah. He wasn't looking to overcommit with that jab. He was just looking to push it out there so Valsain might leave him alone. Well, Valsain didn't leave him alone. He acted like the boss in there from the bell, and that's the reason he was able to be in position to get this knockout when it presented itself.
Tonight was the 36th professional bout for El Loco Marcelo Soski. He had only been finished twice prior to tonight. One of them was in round number 7, the other in round number 9. So Blas certainly did something tonight against El Loco that has not been done before. 2 in the books, 2 spectacular finishes, and still to come, our co-main event. Marcus Valle and DeMarcus Layton. That one's scheduled for 6 in the super welterweight division. Then our main event of the evening, a lightweight matchup scheduled for 10 rounds. Eddie Valencia comes into what is now Otar Arenosian territory here on ProBox TV. This is our main event. This is Pablo Flores to make this blast win official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Michael De Jesus stops the bout officially. 1 minute and 43 seconds into the second round. Tenemos el tiempo oficial. 1:43 en el segundo asalto. El referee detuvo las acciones. For your winner by the way of TKO victory. Su vencedor por la vía del knockout técnico. And still undefeated. Aún invicto. Como Auyei Samir. Jarrell Blast Valsain.
You know, at the end of the day, guys, as you see Coach Mark Ferre with Blast and a big smile on the 20-year-old's face, at the end of the day, you just need to do the job against the man standing in front of you. If he came in this morning or he came in 5 years ago, Paulie, and Blast did a good job of that.
But it's not just doing the job. A lot of prospects do the job. It's the way you do the job that separates you from other prospects. And it's been consistently, for the most part, in Blasdal Valsain's pro career thus far, it's the way he's done the job that has made him the blue chip prospect that he is. A lot of prospects keep winning at this point in their careers, but what separates them isn't the wins and losses, because all of them are pretty much undefeated at this point. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a prospect. It's the way they go about doing it, the way they go about improving, the way they go about making an impression, and Blas Valsain continues to impress people.
Absolutely. This wasn't a kind of fight where it was a question if Valsain was going to win the fight. It was how he was going to win the fight, and he did it in a spectacular fashion against a normally very durable, tricky guy that really, for the most part, I mean, he's a survivor, like we talked about the whole telecast, and he can stick out the joint, and Valsain didn't let him.
And that's the thing. You're going to say, oh, the guy who showed up on 1 day's notice, what do you expect? Bro, this guy doesn't make you look good. He could have, still on 1 day's notice, you're going to beat him anyway. It's the way he got him out of there.
Absolutely.
One punch stoppage on a timed counter shot, and the reason he was able to time it again, like I explained, he was able to hold his ground, not fall for the deception on that jab, which a lot of ways Valsky uses to create space for himself, to keep surviving, to keep making you look bad. Valsky took control of the ring, bossed it, and then was in position to get the stoppage, a one-punch knockout because he timed it correctly. Again, the way he got the stoppage, not so much that he stopped this guy because it's 1 day's notice. It's the way he got it done. That's what separates it.
And you know, we talk a lot about the maturation process and the evolution of a young fighter. And I would say that Mark Ferre and the crew went back and dissected that tape in his last fight against Lucas Diabreu, and he took advantage of the things that he learned from that. And the evolution is very obvious in a big finish tonight, Paulie.
And I want to say something else. I just took a look at that replay again. The double jab, double jab by Valsky. He could have backed up on the second one. You see, he pulled on the first one, and he dipped on the second one and put himself in position for the uppercut. A lot of times, because it's such a not committed jab, you're going to think, okay, there's nothing to counter. He's not committing enough. You're going to back up both times. If he backs up both times, he's going to give Valsky what he's looking for, which is the space to keep surviving. He pulls once, he dips the other way, looking for already the positioning to counter the shot. Again, thought process separates you from a basic prospect to a high-level prospect. We're going to have another look at it again. Look at the way. First, you're going to watch the way the jab is. See? Held his ground, held there, a little pull, and the second one, he doesn't keep pulling. A lot of prospects on the second one will keep pulling there because there's nothing really to counter. He's not a lot committing.
Valsky did something he doesn't normally do there. He actually committed to the second jab. He pulled the first one, then he stepped into the second one, which gave Blast that chance to switch and throw that shot.
And why does he commit? Because he saw Blast kind of hold his ground there. He's like, oh, he might be there for a little more. Nope, just an illusion.
Just an illusion.
You give it and you take it away.
When you got a guy who's so dangerous on both sides, man, I mean, you're dangerous from every angle. You're never safe in a ring when someone can switch on both sides and hit you with both hands. That was impressive.
So our opening fight, is it fair to say that, well, let's just say Devon has a blasting tap, and Blast is just Blast, and did what he has done in all but a few of his fights, and that is finish his opponent. Now, if you want to have some fun and enjoyment, I'll use it. If you want to have a blast, check out our talk shows. Now, watching Canelo and John Ryder, all I said all night is, man, John Ryder is one tough dude. But more importantly, on our talk shows, what was the talk when it comes to Canelo Alvarez?
Canelo has had a lofty perch. He's been the face of boxing for a long time. Is he still the face of boxing?
Gervonta Davis is the face of boxing, guys. Canelo Alvarez has been the face of boxing. He's carried the sport well. He's made some fun fights. He gets people talking. He still gets people talking.
So comparing apples to oranges, that's really tough. Gervonta Davis fighting Ryan Garcia, that was a commercial super fight. This fight was a comeback fight for Canelo, essentially coming off a hand injury, fighting a very unknown on this side of the world fighter in John Ryder. Not as commercially successful for sure, but still, this is Canelo Alvarez. This is still the guy that everyone around the division wants to fight because there's money involved.
Not as commercially successful. Not as commercially successful. Is $1 million difference. Not as commercially. That's an understatement.
Let's put Gervonta Davis and let's put Canelo Alvarez in Central Park. Let's see who gets recognized first.
If you are still asking about Canelo Usyk, which I saw a reporter ask Bebo, if you got fans still wanting Canelo Usyk, if you got fans even bringing up the conversation, you are the epitome of a jerk-off. You look up jerk-off in the dictionary, you're going to see a face in the dictionary like this.
Ask you this, what if we are in downtown Baltimore, Maryland? Maybe Tank gets recognized first in his hometown. One thing we do know, Canelo Alvarez still puts butts in the seats, and it was nice to see him fighting at home for the first time in nearly 12 years. And Paulie, can you do that face again that you did on I like that. I like that. Did they let you talk in that one, Chris?
They don't do it on the highlight because I don't scream my head off like this guy. So I talk my way through these things. I use rational thoughts, not screaming.
I'm emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move ahead to our co-main event of the evening. Marcus Valle, 8-0, 6 wins by knockout, puts his unbeaten record on the line against DeMarcus Little Rock Layton, who has actually been training in the state of Texas. Last time we saw Marcus Valle, he went the distance for the first time in his career. Paulie, it was against Jared Tennant, an 8-1 fighter, and it went the full 6.
Yeah, Tennant not only he earned his check. Valle was getting guys out of there. He's a seek and destroy kind of guy. He was looking a couple of times where he was going to get Tennant out of there, but Tennant started to get the timing down, rolling, held tough, was durable, punched back. And you know what? Was able to go the distance, getting his respect in the process, giving Valle a really good night's work.
I think he did more than just go the distance. He fought a pretty sharp fight. Did Tennant?
Won some rounds.
He came to win. Yeah, he won some rounds. Definitely put Valle to the test. He needs that to grow in his maturity. So I think that was actually a good test for Valle, and I think he's going to take a lot from that fight. And hopefully we see it here tonight.
It's interesting that we talk about Marcus Valle just went the distance for the first time in his career, Chris, because the maturation process of a full 6-rounder for Blast was just put on display tonight.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. He took what he learned from that last fight. Man, I don't want to go the distance anymore. I don't want to hear the judges' scorecards. I'm going to get the guy out of there. I like that mentality. Hopefully Valle has the same idea, and he's going to go out there and look. I mean, he's a seek and destroy guy, like the champ said. So I'm expecting fireworks here. And, his opponent, Layton, he can fight.
Absolutely.
He likes to fight. So we could see some fireworks early.
And Marcus Valle goes the distance. Prior to that, Paulie, there was the DQ. So we know that Marcus Valle is hungry to add another knockout to his ledger.
Yeah, and the reason it was a DQ is because he just suffocates you in pressure, and it's sophisticated pressure. He's not smothering himself. He's leaving punching room. He's punishing you. So he's a very uncomfortable guy to fight.
All right, so we have Marcus Valle and DeMarcus Layton. That is our co-main event of the evening. A relentless combination puncher to the head and body. A breakout star with the ability to close the show. Marcus Valle has said in a humble way, I don't get tired, I hit hard, and I am smart. He is 8-0 at 24 years old. Keys to victory for Marcus Valle, champ.
I mean, with Valle, it's always the same. Impose your size and physical strength. He's very big for this weight class. He's tall, he's long, he cuts weight, he fills in really, really well. He's a good, strong junior middleweight. Next, attack the body with both hands. He does that anyway. What kind of Puerto Rican fighter would he be if he didn't throw left hooks to the body? He does it really well. It's one of his best shots. Then lastly, don't be reckless. He's so offensive-minded that at times he can drop those hands, especially when he's looking for those left hooks down low. I always say you got to answer the phone with that right hand when you're throwing left hooks to the body because you're open for a shot to the chin there.
His opponent is 8-4-1, 31-year-old DeMarcus Layton. DeMarcus Layton has fought some of the top guys in the sport. He didn't last long, 56 seconds against Xander Zayas, but DeMarcus Layton is going to try to use some of that man strength in this matchup. What are his keys, Paulie?
Well, you got to keep the fight in the center of the ring. Valle is all out pressure, seek and destroy. Keep the fight in the center of the ring. Give yourself that breathing space. If you wind up on the ropes, he will suffocate you in both the attack, physically and mentally. Hook with the hooker. Usually you don't want to hook with a hooker, but Valle has a tendency to drop his right hand when he's throwing the hook, especially when he's going down to the body. So you don't even have to really reach for that hook when you try to land it to the head because he's already dropping both his hand and he's going to the body. So look for that as well if Layton can hold his ground and hook with the hooker, especially when Valle is trying to get to his body. And of course, don't get tall in exchanges because you're already a little bit tall, you're lanky, you get tall in exchanges at close range, some missile could come over and take you out.
And Marcus Valle has that missile, and it is right in his right hand. Our tail of the tape for this, our co-main event of the evening. 24-year-old Marcus Valle against 31-year-old DeMarcus Layton. It is Marcus Valle with that unbeaten record who will have the reach advantage. Once again with the official introductions, this time of our co-main event, Pablo Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, This is Wednesday Night Boxing live on ProBox TV. This bout is set for 6 rounds of boxing in the super welterweight division. Damas y caballeros, este combate está pactado a 6 asaltos en la división de peso super welter. Your 3 judges scoring, sus 3 jueces, Brian Gary, Michael Ross, and Shammy Shipman. Your referee in charge of the action, su referee para las secciones, Michael de Jesus. Introducing the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the red and black trunks. Officially weighs in 152 3/4 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, pantaloncillo rojo con negro, con un peso 152 3/4 libras. He stands with a record 8 victories, 4 defeats, and 5 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord, 8 victorias, 4 derrotas, y 5 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. From Little Rock, Arkansas, DeMarcus Layton. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner. He wears the blue trunks with white trim. Officially weighs in 153 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, vistiendo pantaloncillo color azul con blanco, con un peso de 153 libras. He stands with a record, a perfect one. 8 victories, no defeats, and 6 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 8 victorias, 0 derrotas, y 6 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Originally from Tampa, and now representing Wesley Chapel, Florida. Originario de Tampa, y ahora representando Wesley Chapel. He dedicates his fight for all the military vets in attendance here in Plant City, Florida. Damas y caballeros, con ustedes el boricua, Boris Márquez Valle. And now at the final instructions, con las indicaciones finales, su referee, Michael de Jesus. 6 rounds, 6 asaltos.
All right, guys, the rules are told to you in the locker room and in the corner. You know what I expect. Touch gloves if you want to. If not, go back to your corner.
We thank all of our military who keep us safe every single day. Freedom is not free. All the military in attendance, we agree with you, Marcus. A big shout out and a sincere thank you. Here we go. It's time to fight. Marcus Valle, navy blue and white trunks, black and red with a big old Arkansas logo on the leg for DeMarcus Layton.
Ooh. There's that left hook over the top, because that right hand tends to drop a little bit on Valle. Oh, there's again the left hook.
8 wins for Layton, 5 finishes amongst those 8 wins.
And one thing Layton did say in the fighter meeting, the left hook was his punch of choice.
Yes.
There it is again.
He said he had a good 5-week camp, looking to return to his winning ways, and he is off to a good start.
He got buzzed with a right hand on the temple.
I tell you what, he came out kamikaze, made it entertaining, but now he got himself hurt because of the kamikaze style.
Well, champ, kamikazes don't tend to live.
I guess that's the point, right?
And now Valle teeing off. Just a minute and 10 seconds into round 1.
And this is the worst, when you're trying to survive against Valle. He's just not letting you off the hook.
Yeah, you said the word suffocating at the open. Yeah, that's exactly what Valle does, especially if you're spending some time on the ropes, the way Layton is right now.
And Layton almost had no choice but to go to the ropes once he got hurt. Started out with that kamikaze style. Good action, but now seems to be trying to clear the cobwebs a little bit and starting to fight back. But let's see if it has now affected his mentality going forward.
You know, Layton, he throws some tricky shots in between there. He threw a nice little shuffle punch right down the middle to the solar plexus of Valle. He's been throwing good body shots in between, and he's got a very nice left hook to the head.
Double uppercut by Valle over the top. Good counter by Layton.
And although Layton is tall and long, he doesn't know any other way. I've watched a bunch of his fights. This is how he fights. He's a fighter. He doesn't want to sit there and box and stay on the outside. He wants to exchange.
Yeah, I like him, man. He's going to make you earn it. Go, repeat body shots there. He's hurt again.
He's hurt bad.
Now his legs are wobbling.
Valle just pouring on the pressure.
Layton said, people sleep on me. I am here to wake everybody up. Right now, Suffocating. He's trying to put him to sleep.
Suffocating.
Man, a couple more big shots in it.
Here it is all over.
I would have. Yeah, he was punching back, man.
There.
Man, I don't know, man. He was punching back.
Jesus steps in.
I would like to see these referees at least talk to the guy. You know, I've seen referees say, hey, show me something, do something. I mean, come on, man. The guy has to at least be given a chance to recover. He's got his hands up. Yes, shots are getting through. I mean, listen, Layton wouldn't have won the fight, but, you know, there's people paying for tickets. Let them get entertained. Let Valle get the rounds in. Because even a couple of rounds ago, I had a problem with the DQ Valle won by. You know, I thought they could have, you know, let that continue a little bit longer. I know Valle's a Florida guy, so maybe the commission's just trying to favor him a little bit. I don't know, man, but he would have won this fight anyway, man. Let the kid get experience.
Yeah, Layton Wayne was definitely hurt, but he was still throwing punches.
It's just as he's firing back, you're stopping it. Like, the guy just got buzzed. Give him a second to be able to recover. You want him to fight back while he's recovering too? I mean, come on, man. That's how he will get hurt.
I'm going to trademark my instant replay idea, Chris. I don't know how you do it in boxing in that situation, but we're going to go to Control Central.
I'll call my guy.
Early got a good stop.
I'll call my guy. Get the paperwork filled out for you.
This thing was entertaining, man, the whole time.
This was a great fight. These guys are going back and forth. I mean, Layton landed some really good shots. He found the openings on Valle, but Valle, man, that constant pressure.
Yeah, listen.
Started pouring it on, especially when he had his man hurt.
Valle's superior, I get it. You know what? But Layton's also earning his check. He's fighting, and he's giving Valle the work that Valle needs to keep maturing.
This is when this is what I call forcing the stoppage. And yeah, a lot of those punches were not getting through. And it's literally as soon as he punched back, the referee stepped in. Yeah, I see a lot of those punches aren't really getting through. And don't get me wrong, Layton was hurt.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was hurt, but you got to give him a chance to recover. If the guy fights back while he's hurt, that's how they get themselves knocked out badly. You know, you got to give the guy a chance to at least get himself back into it, man.
And look, as soon as he throws a punch,
And it wasn't like Valle was putting a lot of mustard on those shots. He's trying to open up the gloves himself.
Forcing the stoppage. That's a lot of times when you got a guy who's hurt like that and you want the ref to step in, you just let your hands go. You don't have to load up on the biggest shots. But
I think if you want to make the argument or you want to break it down as we get set for our main event of the evening, Otar Aronosian and Eddie Valencia, DeMarcus Layton, Chris, had already kind of weathered what seemed to be a big storm, and then a small bit of rain came in and they stopped it.
Let me tell you, Valle is a really good prospect, but he only had 40, 50 amateur fights. All of this is experience that he's losing out himself. You think you're doing him a favor doing this? He's going to win these fights anyway. Let the kid get his rounds, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him get a chance to keep improving. He's a really good fighter. Let him keep improving.
To make it official, Pablo Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, this stoppage comes with a time of 2 minutes 30 seconds in the opening round. Tenemos el tiempo oficial, 2 minutos 30 segundos en el primer asalto. Declaring your winner by the way of TKO victory. Su vencedor por la vía del knockout técnico. Tampa, Florida, en Bayamón, Puerto Rico. Boricua de pura cepa, Marquez
Marcus Valle with a stoppage victory in round number 1. He remains unbeaten in his professional career. So we see both Blas Darrell Valsaint and Marcus Valle make quick work of their opponents here tonight. Congratulations to both men. But Chris, much to Paulie's point, we had kind of talked about the fact that both Blast and Valle had gone the distance in their last 2 fights, and that was not a bad thing.
No, not at all. You know, Paulie had mentioned before, getting the rounds is important now. It's part of that maturity. We talk about that all show, how much these guys with these big amateur backgrounds need to mature into the pro games. Now, Valle doesn't have a big amateur background, so he really needs these rounds. But listen, he took that last fight. He's like, I don't want the judges in here anymore. I want to get it done. And he pushed for the action. He got the stoppage. Was it a little early? Sure. Was it bound to happen eventually? Probably. But, you know, at the end of the day, he gets another stoppage, moves on to the next fight, and back to the drawing board.
Well, you know, you're paying for the opponent to give him rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the stoppage, you get the stoppage, but it's almost like you're burning money on a guy like Layton. You're wasting it. You know what I mean? Like, you get a guy like Layton. Valle was on his way to winning that fight. Listen, the momentum was with him. You could see he was going to earn maybe even a real stoppage, or go to distance in a really good action fight where he's going to keep learning. Because, you know, he's got a guy who, again, kamikaze style, was throwing everything at him. So Valle was
landing, too. He was landing good shots.
Exactly. Valle has to work a little bit on head movement. There's things he can work on. The transition from defense to offense is something he does very well, which is something he was doing there that was able to flip the attack back onto Layton's kamikaze style. But, you know, he's a guy who shows up to fight his Layton. He's not like some of these opponents show up just to get a check. This guy shows up to fight. Let the kid earn his check and do the favor that he's supposed to do when you're a manager or a promoter trying to match your prospect. You're trying to improve him with these kind of opposition. Give the opponent a chance to improve your prospect. It's almost like you burn the money when you stop it too early like that.
Well, the ref might have a hot date later, so let's get out of here.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
I think Paulie Malignaggi, the Magic Man, had a hot quadruple espresso before tonight's show, because you're always energetic, Paulie, but man, he's magically, massively energetic here tonight. And when you want to talk about a guy who is energetic and massively entertaining, you can talk about the guy who is set to fight in our main event of the evening right back here on ProBox TV. So 2 ProBox TV veterans, Blast and Marcus Valle, with victories already tonight. Let's see if Otar Aronosian can make the ProBox TV Event Center his home for victory again this evening as we get set for our main event of the evening. You want to talk about not a lot of rounds? Well, we haven't had a lot of rounds in any of our fights quite yet. But this main event, Eddie Valencia, he's come to fight. And this could very well be one that goes deep towards the 10th round, where it's scheduled in the lightweight division. All right, we're here on a Wednesday, and we are always here every other Wednesday for you. Next time we come to you will be the end of the month. It will be Wednesday, March 31st. We celebrate our first anniversary. Join us on Wednesday, May 31st for a special live retrospective show on the year that was. The best fights, the best knockouts, the biggest and best upsets of the year, featuring good fighters and great fights, and of course, all accompanied by expert analysis and commentary. Join us for the celebration of your boxing channel, Wednesday, May 31st, right here on ProBox TV.
That's the best looking commentating team on TV.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, those are 3 handsome dudes. All right, our main event, Otar Aronosian and Eddie Valencia. Hey, Paulie said it, and Chris, you and I don't disagree. They are scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. Aronosian's last fight, as we mentioned, was right here at the ProBox TV Event Center back on September 9th, Paulie.
Yeah, we talk about he chases the action. He's a showman, as you can see there. That's a headpiece that Khabib also wears in the UFC, or he did wear in the UFC. He's retired now. But again, look at the action. He doesn't mind fighting at close range. Has good shifty movement, but he looks to also make you pay. There's a little bit of showmanship, trying to give you that movement. Then, believe me, when it's time to step in there, he steps in there and he throws those big shots, big combinations. Trying to get a little nifty, pointing to Roy Jones there. We had Roy Jones ringside, touching the shoe and punching off that repeat hooks with the same hand. You see a little windmill, a little Vinny Paz action, so to speak, you know?
I love when a guy enjoys his job, and Otar seems like he does. He goes out there, he has fun, he puts on a show. I mean, look at him, all smiles. Throws a ton of punches, and he's got enough smiles afterwards. I mean, I really enjoy watching Otar fight.
When you're enthusiastic about what you do, it shows in the way you do your work. And you also end up doing your work very well, very good. And Otar is one of those guys.
He certainly is, with the papuka on, which you talked about Khabib Nurmagomedov wearing it.
Well, Khabib made it famous, right?
Yes, he did. Ethnic headgear. It was famous over in the south part of Russia before that, but he made a
crossover.
Correct.
Famous
Coming
here.
into
I would have
the
never known
octagon.
about it if not for Khabib. We'll put it
They
that way.
used to wear it when they went to war, so we mean business when we put it on, is what Khabib told us years ago. Well, he told me, and I'm sharing it with you guys now.
Secondhand, we got it.
Learning. We're learning. We're learning. If you're not learning, you might as well just stop. All right, Otar Aranosian, non-stop action. Great gas tank that never seems to be emptied at all. And again, he is here to have fun, but he is here to get another victory. In fact, tonight he faces the 6th straight opponent with a winning record. So he's not only winning, but he's doing it against quality opponents. 2 opponents ago, he beat Starling Castillo, who was 16-0. Chris, his keys to victory.
Actually, I'll take Otar here. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You're the best when you're setting the pace and leading the exchanges. Well, you know what? Otar loves to do that. Again, enthusiasm. He does tend to do that because of his enthusiasm. Feint first. He likes to use a lot of feints and a lot of showy feints at that. Feints hard, and he punches hard off of those feints. Utilize in and out offense. Again, we saw some of that highlights from the last fight. He's shifty with his legs, but he doesn't use those legs in a defensive posture all the time. He likes to be in and out. So again, to set up big shots. He doesn't throw a lot of soft punches when he is throwing. He's looking to put a hurting on you when he does throw those shots, but he looks to set them up in creative ways. Big amateur career.
Those keys to victory for Pitbull, Otar Aranosian, his opponent, Eddie Valencia. Here is a man who stays very busy. 2 fights in the last 47 days. 3 fights in 2022, 5 fights in 2021. Chris, he told us in the fighter meetings, he knows of Otar's amateur pedigree. He knows he is a fast fighter. So with that in mind, Chris, what are the keys to victory for Valencia?
Well, you mentioned the amateur pedigree of Otar, but Valencia's got the professional experience. He needs to use this offbeat rhythm. He's got kind of awkward head movement. He's got to throw off the rhythm of his opponent, because Otar, he's got great ring generalship, and he sets a torrid pace. He wants to offset that rhythm, use that rhythm of his own. Then Lex, make it rough, make Otar uncomfortable. He builds his momentum off of his own pace. If you're able to make it rough and make him uncomfortable, then you can take advantage of that. Then lastly, sneaky body shots. He does this really, really well on the inside. He places these shots. You got a guy who never gets tired. Well, punch him in the gut a few times, see if he gets tired after that.
I'll tell you what, make it rough. I like that, because Otar, you might be inviting him to a party if you make it rough. He likes that kind of fight. If we get those keys, we got a good fight tonight.
Cannot wait for our main event, scheduled for 10. Our tail of the tape, Otar Aranosian, 12-0, 29 years old. His opponent from Sinaloa, Mexico, 3 years his elder. Slight reach advantage for the southpaw, Eddie Valencia. Scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. And with the official introductions, once again, we get it to Pablo Flores.
It's time for boxing, and it's time to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your main event of the evening. 10 rounds scheduled in the lightweight division. Damas y caballeros, este es el combate estelar de esta noche. Pactado a 10 asaltos en la división de peso ligero. And it's brought to you by Wednesday Night Boxing live on ProBox TV. Your 3 judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces, Brian Gary, James O'Connor, and Michael Ross. When the bell rings, your 3rd man inside the ring. Para medir las acciones, su referee, el experimentado Christopher Young. And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us around the world and boxing fans in attendance, we're live from ProBox TV Event Center in the beautiful town of Plant City, Florida, USA. It's time to take care of business. Ajusten sus cinturones. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the black trunks with gold and white trim. Officially weighs in 132 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, vistiendo pantaloncillo negro con oro y blanco, con un peso de 132 libras. In 30 pro bouts, he stands with a record 20 victories, 10 defeats, and 7 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 20 victorias, 10 derrotas y 7 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Puritito, Culiacán de Rosales, Sinaloa, México. Eddie Valencia. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing the black and gold trunks, officially weighs in 131 1/4 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo negro con oro, con un peso de 131 1/4 libras. He stands with 12 professional bouts, 12 victories, no defeats, and 6 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 12 victorias, 0 derrotas y 6 de estas victorias por la vía del knockout. Originally from Al-Hakaliki, Republic of Georgia, and now representing Miami, Florida, the undefeated Big Nike, Jeff Baru Nike, introducing Otar Eranosian. And now giving out the final instructions, con las indicaciones finales, su referee en turno, Christopher Young. 10 rounds, 10 asaltos.
Take your shirt off. Okay, man. You can interpret?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. All right, gentlemen, you know what time it is.
Señores, ya saben que es el momento.
Fight hard.
Una pelea dura.
Fight clean.
Una pelea limpia.
Touch him up.
Toque guantes y éxito.
Main event time, 12-0, Otar Eranosian against Eddie Valencia, 20 victories as a professional tonight, his 38th professional fight.
Look when you're ready. Bail.
Here we go. It's time to fight. Eranosian in the black and gold trunks. The southpaw, Eddie Valencia, in the black and gold trunks.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a tougher stare down than when these two just gave each other. These guys mean business.
Paulie, you had talked during the fighter meetings to Otar about, Otar is a Georgian name, Eranosian is Armenian.
Yeah.
And so he is an Armenian born in Georgia.
Yeah, well, I guess the former Soviet republics, they used to move around.
Yep.
He ended up seeing that.
In a good place, happy to be fighting, taking everything he told us very seriously in his quest for a title shot. Eranosian, Orthodox, Valencia, southpaw.
Eranosian doing a great job of cutting off the ring. He's not following his man at all. He's sidestepping with him, making that ring very, very small.
Valencia getting pressure, but he looks pretty comfortable so far. At least body language-wise. Let's see. Once these guys start engaging, I got a feeling it's going to set off. What is he trying to be crafty, though? Got that 30-fight experience, right?
Yeah. They're just slapping shots there.
246 rounds. 10 setbacks in his professional career, but Eddie Valencia has never been stopped. Just past the midway point of round number 1. Our main event scheduled for 10. Eddie Valencia trying to go over the top.
Yeah, I've called a couple of Valencia's fights, and I mean, don't let those 10 losses fool you. This guy is very capable and knows his way around a boxing ring.
And he's faced off as well, Chris, as you well know, against some pretty tough competition.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jesse Magdaleno, Enrique Vivas, who they fought an absolute thriller on a Top Rank show a couple years ago that I called. Like the champ Paulie said, I mean, once these guys start landing, I think it's really going to open up.
You know, we've had some pretty quick knockouts in our 3 fights thus far. I have a feeling this is going to be much more of a battle that goes deep towards the distance.
Yeah, but you see they're still fighting at close range. Both of these guys they're not really runners, and they have the willingness to engage, but they're also very capable. They know how to defend themselves at close range, but they also know how to give and take that action at close range. And you can see right here, most of the round has been fought at this distance, yet both have been very responsible so far.
And both are fighting well in spots. I mean, oh, good forehand shot.
10 seconds, gentlemen, listen for the bell, 10 seconds.
Good body shot. Combination thrown at the end of the round by Valencia.
Remember what I said about Valencia? Whenever he gets hit, whenever he gets tagged, he answers right back. And then you saw that at the end of the round.
Good start to our main event.
Coach, no water. Coach, no water. Так же, как раздергиваешь, раздергивай. Один удар не надо, 2 или 3. Хорошо? Заканчивай. Или передний заканчивай. Хорошо? Или передний джебом заканчивай, или боковым заканчивай. Хорошо? Когда одиночный сзади не прыгай на него. Хорошо? Теперь, когда по животу хочешь бить, бей навстречу. Задней рукой бей. И развивай атаку. Понял? Прессуешь хорошо, также прессуй. Хорошо? Назад просто так и не отходи без удара. Давай.
No surprise that Otar Aranosian did not take the stool. He didn't take the stool in his last fight at all either, Chris.
He didn't take water either. He said no water, no water. That's a hard man.
That is a hard man who's looking for a big win, wants to get lucky number 13 tonight.
And he's got
here on ProBox.
He's got ex-heavyweight contender Timur Ibragimov in the corner. Remember Timur and Sultan Ibragimov. Yep, pretty good heavyweight contenders. And they're that.
Surrounded by some brilliance and a longtime coach of 29-year-old Otar Aranosian. Round number 2. Quick hands, blue gloves, the southpaw Valencia. Otar Aranosian, white gloves. He is in the orthodox stance, and I say that because they have matching trunks.
Beautiful stuff there from Otar Aranosian. Really put his punch together really nicely, really well. And like you said, champ, I mean, when he throws hard. Yeah. He's not looking to touch him.
Yeah, and it was a nice catch and shoot there where you were using the left hook after blocking that right hook to the body of Valencia.
Very precise puncher, too, because Valencia is a hard guy to hit. He's got some awkward head movement and footwork. And Otar has been pretty high percentage thus far.
Well, the word of the night shot.
Okay, keep it clean.
Word of the night has been positioning with the knockouts we saw earlier, and Otar is able to create stuff because of that positioning as well.
Did you see that little sneaky shot from Valencia on the break to the body? He's a tricky guy, man.
Yeah, he's crafty.
Well, he did say in the meetings yesterday, Chris, I have experience and intelligence. Valencia's team feels they have a good strategy, and he can answer any rhythm or pace that Otar Aranosian may put on.
Yeah, Valencia likes to punch with his guys and then answer him on top of it afterwards. He's a combination puncher, but he usually is off of his opponent's rhythm.
And it's really been he's got some smart body shots too when he's punching with Otar. And I've noticed a couple of good body shots he's landed in there.
And you can see Otar's stomach is actually all red from some of those shots. And like we saw in the Ryan Garcia-Gervonta Davis fight, when you get hit a body shot while you're throwing, it takes that much more out of you.
Keep man's head down. Keep heads up, okay? Come on now. Box.
Right hand off the break. 1 minute on the clock here in round number 2.
You know what? Otar's punch selection reminds me a little bit of Lomachenko. Some of those shots, even though he's coming from the orthodox position, just the way he throws them, the uppercut to the hook, that little looping shot off the backhand.
He just has a little bit more hitch in there, though. You know, he's trying so hard to hit you hard. Lomachenko is more flowy with it, but nonetheless, I see the similarity in terms of what he's trying to do.
Ooh, that's that sneaky body shot again. Ooh, nice
One way to test a gas tank that seems to never get emptied is to continue to punish the body.
A couple of clashes of heads there. You got to be careful. They're fighting at real close range, and of course, lefty versus righty at close range.
Quick snap hook. Lands for Otar Aranosian.
That's been a good weapon thus far. He landed another good one in the first round as well. The left hook, that is.
10 seconds.
A Mexican fighter from Sinaloa going to the body. Oh, what a shocker.
Is it just me or are these rounds flying by? I can't believe we already hit the block.
And the pace early in this fight is outstanding.
Yeah, they fought about 6 inches away from each other every single round the whole time.
I was actually thinking about that because I was watching a lot of Otar's fights before this, and we talked about the showboating. I was wondering if he was going to be able to do that with Valencia because of how much they're going to be fighting so close together.
Pero hay que rematarlo con el golpe de izquierda. ¿No? Hay que trabajar un poquito más esa izquierda. ¿Cómo te sientes? No pasa nada. Al ratito te le paras y te lo vas a acabar. El vato está también cansado, ¿no?
Cuando te mueves, no te agarra, güey.
Te pegó un cabezazo, ¿verdad?
Y una carga atrás.
No pasa nada.
Moviéndote, ya estás centrado, mijo, No le vuelvas a dar la mano.
Little shot over the top there from... There it is. That was that sneaky body shot that I was talking about on the break. He's been doing really, really well with that in this fight. And there's that left hook. That's been the best weapon for Aranosian so far. But watch out for those body shots. I'm hoping the judges are paying attention to those.
Round number 3, both men in the black and gold trunks. Aranosian white gloves, orthodox blue gloves, southpaw, Eddie Valencia.
They'll show both. Oh!
Catch and shoot there by Aranosian.
They continue to throw with ill intention and at a very high pace.
Valencia's got some beard on him. That was a big shot.
Valencia just fought 21 days ago. In fact, he had 2 fights last month, April 1st and April 27th.
Jeez.
No inactivity for him, Chris.
This guy doesn't even need to spar. Just getting these fights.
That's how we did in the old days, right?
Yeah, right? Oh.
Good transition, catch and shoot there from Valencia. We've seen a few times from Aranosian. It's from Valencia there again with a catch and shoot and returns fire from Aranosian.
Wow, these guys are
outstanding.
You can't even commentate on this. They come back, they answer so quickly.
Ooh, over the top of the right. I think that was, there were 8 or 9 straight jabs thrown by Otar Aranosian in that last exchange.
Help his foot. Watch your feet, watch your foot.
And a good combination by Valencia.
Good change up there. Was looping that hand and made it straight, landed right down the middle.
We talked about Otar all night. Chris and Paulie and being all action. Well, you know what? Looks like he's got an all-action opponent in front of him.
Aranosian trying to get some break, get a break by pushing down on the head, almost like a Muay Thai lock on Valencia. Valencia's like, all right, I'll just go to the body.
Sneaky uppercut lands for Valencia.
Valencia is very crafty. Every time Aranosian tries to take an angle, he just throws a body shot, puts it right in the middle.
Good two-way exchanges by both of these guys.
Yeah, this has been an excellent round. Nice feint there from Valencia.
You can see the high IQ, the boxing brilliance and intelligence from both of these men. But man, they're going at a big pace. They're going body, they're going head, they're throwing hooks, they're throwing jabs. They're doing it all, and we're just in round number 3.
Tell you what, champ, you mentioned if the judge is paying attention to the body shots Valencia's throwing. If he keeps landing good body shots like that later in the fight, it's gonna be Otar himself who's gonna end up paying attention.
Yeah, well, you could see the redness all around the abs of Otar already from those body shots.
Good shots, he's talking. Ooh.
Otar be a little answer to that body shot earlier.
Otar talking and fighting. Valencia didn't like it.
Valencia's corner especially didn't like it. They jumped up out of their seats.
Round 3 in the books.
Both of these guys, a lot of machismo, and neither guy wants to back off from the other.
And one guy doesn't want a stool.
That's the thing about Valencia, but you cannot let those 10 losses fool you. This guy comes to win.
Never been stopped, as we mentioned, Chris.
Мексиканец. Раз-два, закрутил, ударил. Раз-два, закрутил, ударил. Понял? Понял меня? Расслабься, стой, дыши. Ворот. Дыши. Смотри. Живот тоже надо. И голова, и живот надо.
Good right hand here from Otar.
That was a good catch and shoot there. See, Otar, his back leg came up off the ground. Otherwise, he would have got more mustard on that shot. And then here on the inside, getting a little nippy. Catch and shoot, good exchanges in there.
Back up, back up, back up, back up.
See, Otar
There's
create
a pump
space
and
there.
jabs, you guys.
Yeah, using that just to create some space so he can load up these kind of shots.
That whole round was just back and forth.
This whole fight is just back and forth. Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi. Wednesday night fights live from our ProBox TV event center just outside of downtown Tampa, Florida, here in Plant City. This is our main event of the evening, a lightweight fight scheduled for 10 rounds, and the first 3 have been spectacular.
I'm curious how this fight's going to unfold. It's like the gas tank of Arenosian versus the chin of Valencia. Both guys are testing each other.
So let's go to the scorecards, Chris. What do you have it after 3?
I got Arenosian up 2-1.
Paulie?
Yeah, same with me. Round. Oh, good exchange of body shots there.
I don't know who got the better of it.
Oh, again. They weren't sure either, so they tried it again.
Arenosian has such good upper body movement.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And he moves his feet with it as well. Like he'll move the upper body, and then his feet slide out underneath him and puts himself in position. Keeps really good balance. That's why he's able to load up on those shots and land with power.
Both guys transition attack the defense to attack the defense. They fall very well, and that's why there's been such good exchanges.
I love that head movement from Arenosian. Even when he's in close like that, he's still pulling in, out, up, and down. Yep. He's using that 3D defense.
Yeah, and he's trying to just change the range just subtly to try to set little traps. Of course, sometimes he gets impatient. He's dying to hit you so badly, but he's at the same time, he is thinking. He's trying to subtly change that in range.
He's like a wind-up toy. He just wants to go.
But he's always at least 90% wound up even before he really goes to 100%. There it is, right on cue. 1 minute, round 4. And Arenosian has shoes that don't match, by the way. Fashion statement.
Good catch there, Goldie.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Maybe I should, instead of black and gold trunks, I can say 1 black and gold shoe, 2 black and gold shoes.
Arenosian's done a good job this round, and again, it's because I think of those subtle range changes. You know, he hasn't allowed Valencia to get off as much, and he's been able to get off and then change range, just get back out of range. He hasn't really been at far distance, but just enough distance to where now he's starting to feel his own rhythm, and he realizes he's taking an edge in this fight. Because you don't want to wake the Mexican up.
Yeah, I think he should leave the showboating at home with this guy. It's not the right guy.
He said, I've been a showman since I was a little dude. Even as a kid, he used to have this style and profile. Not something he makes up, it just comes naturally.
And Jeff, you had mentioned machismo with these two guys. It seems like Arenosian almost lets his machismo in the corner. It's like, you know what, I'm going to use my boxing skills to get that round, because that was a much better round from Arenosian.
Yeah, but at the end of it, it seemed like he got sucked back into the exchanges. But when he's thinking, those subtle range changes have confused Valencia just a little bit. I'm curious to see if he's going to keep using that in the next round.
That's something that could hurt Arenosian as the competition goes up, being able to be goaded into a fight like that and get out of your game plan.
Yep, absolutely.
No estamos cansados nada, no. Te quiero más activo. Dale. ¿Cómo vas a andar en este que sigue? Que seas tú, ¿no? Hey.
The physical matchup has been brilliant. You can see some mental warfare going on as well.
Yeah, you saw Arenosian go back to his showboating ways, and Valencia's like, I'm here too, bro. I can do the same thing. He actually dropped right next to him when he did that as well. It's like they were matching each other move for move.
Main event scheduled for 10 rounds, round 5. Orthodox white gloves, Otar Arenosian. Non-matching shoes, southpaw Eddie Valencia. You can tell he came to fight, and now everything he said to us yesterday in the fighter meetings, Chris, he wasn't kidding. He is ready. He is adjusting to the pace. He does have experience, and you can see he's trained with some fast fighters.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a big test for Otar Arenosian, because Valencia really comes to fight. He's one of those guys. I mean, he's always going to give a good showing of himself. He may not win. He might not always be victorious, but he's going to push you.
You think Arenosian knows that Valencia might not speak English? Arenosian has done a good job of attacking and then getting just out of range.
Valencia has gone the distance 4 times in 10 round fights. He's gone a full 12 3 times. So it seems like his gas tank is somewhat unlimited as well. We'll see as the fight continues.
Back of the head.
Yeah, a lot of mental warfare every time Christopher Young breaks these two fighters.
Arenosian is talking more and more to his opponent, to the people in the corners, to people watching the fight.
He's enjoying himself.
Finding his rhythm. He made a change a few rounds ago, and he's starting to show his class. There we see that head movement.
Good uppercut, followed by the hook, and then a quick combination.
If he languishes in there, though, Valencia lets him know. He's still laying some shots there. Aronosian, this fight is the kind of thing it'll test his discipline.
There's a shoe tap.
Stop that, stop.
Nice straight right hand and spin as he looks and smiles at the corner.
All right, fight clean. Box.
Christopher Young does not want any dance lessons given in the ring here in our main event tonight. Head body from Aronosian.
Yeah, we're starting to see the separation. Aronosian is just classy. All that shifty movement, all those big shots.
Yeah, he's like a buzzsaw.
Yeah, he builds on momentum. He sets a pace, and when he finds his rhythm, man, he's a nightmare.
And Paulie, that just wears on an opponent mentally, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, but I'm not sure it's gonna wear Valencia out, so to speak. I mean, he's got some good shots landing here, but Valencia, anytime he gets a chance, he's still firing shots off. But I do think it's gonna frustrate him.
He's a hard guy to discourage. Yeah, frustrate, sure, but I mean, it's discouraging him. You know, he's going to work today.
Which is why he came in with 246 professional rounds and never been stopped. Past the midway point of our main event, let's revisit the keys, Paulie, for Otar Aronosian.
Well, we talk about pressure. That's all he's brought. You know, he's brought the fight. Feint first. I think he's been first a lot, especially the last couple of rounds where he started to find a little bit of a rhythm-changing range, and he's been able to feint first and get off first in general because he's been able to dictate when it's time to fight and when it's not time to fight. And utilize in and out offense, of course, that's what he did.
And Chris, his opponent, Eddie Valencia.
And we spoke about that offbeat rhythm, that kind of that head movement that's a little unorthodox. He's been using that quite well, especially in the beginning. Make it rough. I mean, this guy loves it rough, so they both do. I don't think it really helps either one of them. And then the sneaky body shots, that's been the best thing he's done all night. So that's something he needs to keep up with for sure.
That may be the most prominent of your keys to victory that Eddie has showcased tonight, are those body shots as he looks for another one here. Round number 6, our main event here on Wednesday Night Fights on your boxing channel, Probox TV. Lead double right, followed by the left.
But good head movement there from Valencia. He made most of those shots miss.
Now he's got to fire off that head movement as well.
That's one thing he's been answering less and less the last couple of rounds.
And I think it's also because Otar has changed the way he attacks a little bit too, changing range instead of catching and shooting. When you can catch and shoot, I think Valencia prefers catch and shooting right back at you. But now Otar is shifting it between catching and shooting and changing range. And that in and out, which was on the keys champ, that is really, once he made that adjustment, started using that in and out,
and
it really made a difference.
It's what we just saw. Valencia does not have great balance. His footwork is awkward. He steps and crosses his legs. He falls off balance at times. So like you said, when he's able to catch and shoot, he makes that contact. He maintains his balance. When he misses, he falls over.
Yeah, when changing range, it affects that. And Otar has realized that. And he's been changing range more and more, making that good adjustment. Good body shot, though.
Yeah, Valencia, the one you're talking about, Chris, I mean, he really had to reach to try to land that punch.
Yeah, you see, he's off balance often, especially as Otar steps out.
Big swing and a miss, answered by Aronosian. Past the midway point of round number 6.
Yeah, this used to be a fight about chin versus gas tank. It's turned into a fight about balance. And Otar has a much better balance than Valencia.
boxers with that check hook. Valencia on the chin of Aronosian. And again with the left hand. Two good shots with that straight left. And Valencia picking up the pace.
Good late charge here from Valencia.
And if this fight is close on the scorecards, Eddie Valencia is going to make it even more difficult if he keeps landing shots like he has in the last 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah, Otar started this round really good, but then really stepped off the gas.
Yeah, Valencia's been pressing.
Yep.
Maybe the early body shots taking a little bit of effect on Aronosian.
Nada más. Todo lo que hemos pasado. ¿Quién merece más que nosotros esto? ¿Quién merece más que nosotros? Hemos trabajado bien duro para todo esto. ¿Entendido? Entonces, no baje el ritmo. ¿Estamos? No baje el ritmo. Vamos bien. Cerraste muy bien el round. De la mitad para adelante fue de nosotros. Quiero que sea completito. Quiero que sea el round completito de nosotros. ¿Estamos?
Telling Valencia he's doing good, but they want complete rounds. They want him to do well in the complete round and not just in spots.
Here we see that big looping overhand shot from Valencia, which he timed perfectly. And from then on, the rest of the round, it was all Valencia.
Yeah, and that was the spots right there. You know, he's controlling the spots. As you said, the rest of the round, they wanted to do the entire round and start to really take control of the fight. I guess they believe that he can do that. Maybe they're noticing Aronosian starting to back up a little bit and slowing down. Let's see how the last 4 rounds shape up.
Valencia, now he's starting to dance a little bit and loosen up. Scorecards after 6 rounds, Paulie.
I got Aronosian kind of running away with it a little bit now. I got it 6-1, but Valencia, the last round, made it a little closer.
5-1.
I mean, yeah, 5-1, yeah. My math is off.
I got a little closer, 4-2. I thought that Valencia stole that last round.
Paulie's got that crystal ball, right, Magic Man?
Oh, we'll see. You never know in this fight.
I always say it's really, really difficult to score and call a fight at the same time. It's really impossible, but to do it properly.
Unless you have 4 or 5 degrees, Chris.
I think you add one every show.
Yeah, you know. We're partners, man. We got to have each other's back,
Listen,
right?
I'm not complaining. I'll take it. You can add titles, whatever.
Absolutely. 10-time world champion, Chris Algieri, 12-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi.
Keep adding them on.
You got it. '25-time Emmy Award-winning producer, Richie Gaughan in the truck with us.
The unsung heroes.
5-time director. Rick Tugman, he's going to get a 6th after tonight's performance, I would say. All right, back to the fight. You guys, thanks a lot for throwing stuff back at me, guys. You guys are awesome.
This has been what is considered a slow round for these two.
Yes.
You know, still throwing a lot of punches. It's still an active round, but compared to what they've been doing.
Help his head. There you go.
Under a minute here in round number 7.
You know, as crafty as Valencia has been, and you know the way that he's placed these shots, I wonder. And he's not a big puncher, so I wonder what's going to happen when Aronosian steps up with a guy who can really punch.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, we talk about enthusiasm. Is the enthusiasm going to be there? Because he's in range a lot, and he likes to assault you. But what happens if the guy is able to answer back with good punching power? Because Aronosian, he defends well, but he's hittable because he's always in punching range.
12-0, 6 knockouts in the professional career of Otar Aronosian.
Like you said, like Jim, he's got very good defense. Good left hook there for Valencia. Very good defense, but after all of his fights, his face is very knotted up. He gets, you know, not that he's getting beat up per se, but he's in the fray so
he engages
often.
a lot.
Yeah, and when you're trading shots like that and you're getting hit, you got a guy who can really punch. It can be a different night.
I said at the top of the show, this is going to be a fun main event.
Yeah, this is a fight I think we were all looking forward to because we knew what these guys brought to the table, and you need a good dance partner, and these two both have good dance partners.
Good shot selection from both guys there. Aronosian changing the angles with the punches, and Valencia responding from defense to offense, flowing.
Otar Aronosian will never auction off a stool in which he is used in a fight because he never takes the stool. Our main event continues. Eddie Valencia, black and gold trunks, as sported by his opponent, Otar Aronosian. Sinaloa, Mexico's Eddie Valencia, the southpaw, and Otar Aronosian in the orthodox stance. Round number 8.
Good combination there.
And again, going back for the in and out is Aronosian, which has given him so much success. When there's a subtle range change, it really throws Valencia for a loop.
Such quick hands.
And that in and out is what gave Valencia hell when he fought Jesse Magdaleno. He was in and out. He pieced him up all night long.
He's going to have a strong feint and change range again for Aronosian. You see Valencia now not getting off because he's not sure if you're going to be in range to punch or not.
That Magdalena fight, May of last year, went the 8-round distance. Unanimous decision victory went the way of Jesse. Both of you have talked so often about don't come in one punch and then out, set it up, throw your hands, let loose. I mean, this is the blueprint of everything that you guys talk about that others should try to do more often. It's always a combination. He's in and out, he's always moving, and a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he is fun, but keep in mind that's also why he's hittable, you know. And so not every prospect is going to fight like this, not because they don't want to be fun, but because, you know, they're also more attentive to maybe not getting hit as much. And Aronosian is not reckless. He's defensively responsible, but he's always close range. And no matter how responsible you are defensively, when you're at close range, you're going to take shots.
This a lightweight fight, but both men were light on the scale. 132 for Valencia, 131.2 for Aronosian.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, most probably these guys will campaign 130 pounds if it comes time for a title shot.
Yes.
Watch your weather. Let him go. Let him go.
One thing, another reason you don't see guys, you mentioned, you know, all the things that we talked about with Otar and how he's fighting, how we want other guys to do too. It's also the gas tank. Yeah, very few guys that have the endurance that this guy has. All those feints, those explosive maneuvers, those sap your gas tank every time, and he does them constantly.
Yeah, and even fighting at this range, it's very energy burning. You know, he can be overwhelming. Sometimes you can overwhelm yourself doing that.
Watch your way
but
out.
Not him. He's used to it.
Keep punching in the front. Watch your way out. Stop. Let's go.
You know, you got plenty of energy when you can still yell too.
Yeah, and that one understood. Let's go. Look at that, and a right hand. Oof. Turns the corner nicely. Good finish in that round for Otar Aronosian.
Give each other a glare.
He kicks his stool. Valencia kicked his stool.
And there's no stool to kick for Otar, but Valencia's kicking some stools here. And it's funny because sometimes they respect each other, touch gloves, and just they're glaring at each other. As the fight is worn on, I've seen a couple of glove touches, but not that time.
You can tell these guys definitely respect each other as much as they're jibber-jawing back and forth. There's a lot of respect.
I felt like we were watching Officer and a Gentleman. Don't eyeball me. Don't eyeball me.
The girl's got the wrong ground up. actually round 9. Round called
I was going to say, I was saying these rounds are going by fast. I didn't think it was going that fast.
I was around that before. Yeah, we've seen that before, Paulie. She's foreshadowing as well.
That's confusing to the fighter because you can see that round 10.
Yeah, that's why the referee did a good job. So he's giving both guys note that it's round 9.
Seconds out. Round 9. Round 9. Box.
Round 9. Fight scheduled for 10. Valencia never stopped as a professional. Aranosian never been defeated in his professional career.
I was going to say, I hope the fight wasn't over yet. I'm having a good time watching this fight.
This one could go 12. Valencia trying to reach and find that body. Got to be careful not to get off balance, Chris, like you talked about before.
Yeah, and that's why he has so much trouble with the in and out, because he falls forward and falls into shots, and he misses, and he's off balance and gives Aranosian opportunities to counter.
And the difference in this fight has been a lot of the activity for Aranosian. Even at close range, he's gotten off more punches. But now with the ability to be in and out, a lot of times he's the only one getting off. Although when they are at range, Valencia takes advantage and throws his own shots.
Valencia just missed with that counter left a moment ago.
I like how even though Aranosian was getting the better of the exchanges early on, he saw that there was an opportunity to widen the gap, and he took it. He didn't just stay in the pocket because he was having fun. He's like, you know what? Let me separate myself from this guy, show everybody why I'm so good.
You play too much. Box.
He played too much box.
I mean, he plays a lot, but he gets a lot of work done too.
Yeah, he does.
Whoa.
Oh, step on the foot there, lefty righty.
That's a classic move there. Step on the foot, hit him with a slapping shot.
A little clash of heads there. Valencia was checking for blood.
Here we go.
Valencia to the body. Aranosian everywhere has been targeted tonight.
Yeah, Valencia's been the distance many times, been more rounds than Aranosian has, but he's not used to a pace like this.
Yes.
And I think you're starting to see that the pace is wearing on him.
And that's going to be the thing that does make Aranosian tough to beat. You know, one of his weaknesses is he's in range all the time to get hit. But of course, the other thing is he's held to fight. Anybody that's going to fight him is going to have the hard night's work.
Unless they can really punch and deter him from doing these kinds of.
Watch your way out.
He's stubborn, dude. You're going to have to knock him out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And they're going to have to find him to knock him out.
Oh, he's not hard to find. It's just
he's right there, but I mean, the head movement, Paulie, and the turn in the corner.
Yeah, and taking the chances to throw those big shots. He's going to be a whirlwind in the meantime.
Yes.
10 seconds, Jimmy, 10 seconds.
I was on a run earlier today because I like to run before we do our shows, and I was thinking about Otar Aranosian, and what came to mind was controlled chaos.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's controlled chaos in every way. His personality, the way that he acts in the ring, the way that he fights. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
And that goes to show you what we're talking about, Goldie, with find him, controlled chaos. He finds you.
Yes. Great point, Paulie. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to find the tornado. If it finds you.
You don't get out of the way, it'll come find you.
Because that's the thing. As wild as he is, he's not wild. He's, you know, he might be wild in his mind, but he executes in a controlled fashion. It's impressive.
Second time Aranosian has seen the 10th round in his professional career. Valencia has gone the distance.
Oh, there's that head clash.
4 times in 10 rounders, 3 times in 12 rounders.
Valencia was complaining about the heads, and now we got blood over the eye.
And Valencia's like, man, after all night, going out, I got to get a cut too.
Chris, your scorecard as we enter the final round.
I got a 7-2 Aranosian.
Paulie?
I got it at 8-1. Aranosian. But a competitive 8-1.
Very competitive. Fast-paced rounds.
Yeah, and he's had to work every single round that he's won. And just he's been a boss.
And Valencia's brought exactly what you told us, Chris, he was going to bring because you'd called his fights previously, so you're not surprised by Eddie Valencia at all.
Yeah, if there's nothing less, I mean, he's consistent, and this is the way he fights.
There's a cut on the scalp of Aranosian, too.
That's probably from that head clash from the same one. I cut over the eye of Valencia. Those cuts high in the head, those things usually bleed a lot. The skull is very vascular, and there's not a lot of tissue there. It's skin and a vein.
Yeah, but it doesn't deter Otar Aranosian from that controlled chaos, guys.
Nice head movement. Aranosian, he missed the punch. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Let's get back to contact. Nice, nice. Good in and out, push and pull.
All-action athlete, Otar Aranosian.
Yeah, I was curious if the gas tank was going to be affected by those body shots early on. It seems like that's not the case.
Yeah, you got a great gas tank. He's fueled up.
Yeah, he's still working hard in the 10th round of an action-packed fight.
Yes, which has been at an incredibly high pace throughout.
Oh,
just missed with that uppercut.
But that's because Aranosian hit it with a right.
Yeah. That's a pretty
30
nasty
seconds.
cut over the
I love
eye.
that. Forget language barriers. They still, you know, still talking.
Boxing's universal.
Doesn't matter the language, Paulie. They know what each other are saying, right?
Right there. That's universal.
Yep.
Knuckles.
How else could these guys finish the fight?
10 seconds.
I like how Aranosian switched that lead left hook to a jab. He landed some really hard, stiff jabs this round.
They go the distance in our main event of the evening, and they fight till the very end.
Good entertaining scrap.
As usual, Aranosian extremely entertaining.
And not surprisingly, the machismo continues even after the final round between these two. Valencia's gonna need some stitches for that cut right here. And to get a look at the clash of heads that may have caused this cut. Cut that's gonna need some stitches.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Over the eye.
Right here, and you see right there.
And that's where the cut on
Aranosian's head is as well. Yeah,
so
double cut. You see Valencia's like, come on, man! In the last round, you had to get us cut.
Judges rendering their decision of our main event of the evening.
I had a fight like that early in my career. You know, I was beating a guy basically 8-0 in an 8-rounder, and I got headbutted in the last round, swallowed the whole side of my face. I'm like, man.
Yeah, now your plans for the next day are ruined and everything.
Now my mom's gonna be mad at me. Come on.
Take a look at the highlights, and there are many.
I mean, this thing was non-stop from the start. Both guys engaged at this distance for the majority of the fight. You see these highlights all at close range, and we're not just grabbing random highlights, because this fight was at this range almost the entire time. More two-way action at first, but once Otar started to adjust the range a little bit, he started to really separate his class, started to separate himself a little bit from Valencia.
And it was impressive because he made the decision to make that change, to show his advanced skill set, his in and out, his ability to fight more than one way. Where Valencia really only had that one way, to be the tough guy in front of you, to throw combinations, hit you with those sneaky shots. But more and more as the fight wore on and the hijinks wore on, started to show themselves, you saw the class of Aranosian rise to the top.
And Aranosian is going to enjoy himself. You know, violence is what he thrives on. So you look at maybe somebody else look at this fight and say, man, you're just making it hard on yourself. You're making it tough on yourself. Aranosian is making it fun for himself. He actually wants this kind of fight. I think he's going to get bored if he doesn't find himself in this kind of fight.
I mean, he fights better when he's having fun.
Yeah. And it's more entertaining for fans too, guys. And we're going to enjoy it more. There's that clash of heads, and you see Valencia's like, come on, dude, really? All right.
An entertaining main event, to say the least. The decision is in. Once again, we get it to Pablo Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we now go to the judges' scorecards. Damas y caballeros, después de 10 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. Big round of applause for both fighters. Fuerte aplauso para Valencia y Aranosian por este gran combate. Judge, el juez, Brian Gary, he scores at 98-92, 98-92. And judges, los jueces, Michael Ross and James O'Connor reach an agreement of cards 97-93. Ambos jueces coinciden en números 97-93, tanto Michael Ross y James O'Connor. For your winner by the way of unanimous decision, su vencedor por la vía de la decisión unánime, and still undefeated, from Ajalcalaki in Miami, Florida, Dick Nike, Yebaru Nike, Otar Aranosian.
8-2 on one card, 7-3 on the other. But a smile on the face of Eddie Valencia at the end of that fight. He had fun. He was defeated for the 11th time in his career, but he wasn't stopped. And he had some fun in there because Otar Aranosian, even though he hits you a lot, he's a fun guy to be in there with.
Yeah, and Valencia, he's a warrior too. He likes these kind of fights. He's it wasn't like he was out of his depth either. So he shouldn't be that upset with his performance. I thought he fought very well, especially early on. He was just in there with someone who just had a different level of skill set and a different pedigree.
And Aranosian is a guy you don't want to see again. He's the kind of guy, he's fun. You look for him on the schedule. I'm sure ProBox will see him again. I don't think this guy's capable of making a fight that's not fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing is that we do a promo and we say Otar Aranosian coming back to ProBox TV. And Paulie, much to your point, you do get excited because he does have fun out there, but he's brilliant at the basics, but he's at the basics at a very fast pace.
Yeah. He's thinking in there. You know, he's brilliant at the basics, but he's thinking in there. You know, sometimes you think of the basics, think of the jab at range, and then, you know, keeping it simple. He does like to complicate his life a little bit. He likes to be in range a little bit more than most fighters will. But again, like I said earlier, he's not enjoying himself. I don't think he's capable of being effective if he's not enjoying himself, and the way he enjoys himself is at close range. And of course, we enjoy ourselves as much watching it.
He is a cardio king, Chris Algieri.
Yeah, I mean, I was really curious to see how his cardio was going to hold up with someone who is such a good body puncher and who's landing very well early on. Some of the shots, it looked like it affected Aranosian, but I mean, listen, the guy, like I said, he's a wind-up toy, and he just kept on going. That gas tank didn't dissipate at all in the 10th round. Very, very impressive performance from Aranosian, from probably his toughest opponent thus far.
They used to say nothing outlasts the Energizer. Well, Aranosian might have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and there was one round, I think it was the 5th, where it seemed like Aranosian took a deep breath, slowed the pace a little bit, but it didn't last very long, that slowing of the pace.
I think he was actually doing that to, like I said, to make that a little bit of an adjustment so he could separate himself from Valencia, so he didn't have to be in such a war that might have been close.
Right.
He really, I mean, the scores were 8-2, 7-3. That's kind of what we had. So, yeah, I think it was a good performance and smart of him to make that adjustment mid-fight.
And another great performance from Otar Aranosian as he moves to 13-0 in his professional career. So that is our Wednesday night of fights here live from Plant City. Later this month, the 31st, we celebrate our first anniversary. Join us 2 Wednesdays from now for a special live retrospective show on the year that was. The best fights, the best knockouts, the biggest and best upsets of the year, featuring good fighters and great fights. And of course, it is all accompanied by expert analysis and commentary. Join us for the celebration here on your boxing channel, Wednesday, May 31st. That is right here on ProBox TV. And as promised, every other Wednesday, back and forth. We're back here at home also on June 14th, Sinaloa, Mexico, on June 28th. And then we stay in Florida back-to-back in July, the 12th and the 26th. We make our way to Kissimmee, Florida, where, Paulie, we have had a bunch of fun fights when we went there for what was a Puerto Rican celebration here on ProBox TV. We got it started with Williams and William. And Devon Williams, well, he said goodbye to his opponent, William Davis, very quickly. First round finish. Darryl Blasvel Singh, second round finish. As he remains unbeaten, as does Marcus Valle. Valle came hard, he came strong, and he gets another finish, this one in round number 1. Then, our main event of the evening, Otar Aronosian, Eddie Valencia go the distance. They put on a show, little wink, little fun, and a great night of fights. For my partners, Chris Algieri and the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg, saying so long until next time. We see you right back here on ProBox TV.